And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. It is a brand new week of shows after taking last week off. Had to recuperate from the voice and get some things get stronger out there too for us here on the Backstage Pass presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and of course Honky Tonk Texas. Pleased to welcome in a couple of double shot shows we're going to do today too for the Texas two step. Hadn't done that in a while. First up, Catie Offerman joining us here on the
Ooh.
Backstage Pass. What's going on, my friend?
Oh man, like I said, I told you when we first hopped on, I am
Mm-hmm.
chilling. I'm going to confess I'm sitting on my bed right now because that's what sounded nice. So I'm not going to lie to you guys. I love a good Zoom hang. I wish we were in
Mm-hmm.
person, but I just appreciate you having me on. Love
I
my fellow
love it.
Texans.
Love the music. Fellow Texan here, grew up in New Braunfels. Well, hey, let's talk about that too, because from a young age, this bug kind of was like biting. This is like something I've got to do because your path was kind of unconventional to get where you're at, the publishing deal, the record deal on Universal. Talk about just how hard it was to take that path, but also you love doing something from the age of 4, like taking piano lessons, growing up in New Braunfels. So you knew kind of early on how rich that Texas country sound was down here.
Yeah, I think Texas, while I don't necessarily do Texas country, like Texas is a huge part of who I am, my sound, just all my influences, whether it be coming from New Braunfels, it's a big polka community. I used to play polka music and then Western swing, and then I used to play fiddle with some Texas country artists. And, so all of that has really shaped now my music. And as far as the path, it's always funny because you put these goals in your mind of what you want to do and where you want to be at certain points. And yes, I do believe that there's things you want in life, you can 100% get them, but it never looks like what you think.
Mm-hmm.
The road to get there, at least for me, did not look like how I thought. Um, I got the things that I wanted, but they didn't happen. They happened several years down the road, or they happened after many winding turns. And, actually, I had lunch with a girl today that goes to Belmont,
Mm-hmm.
and she was asking me like, what do you recommend? Do you recommend getting a publishing deal first or management or whatever? And I told her, I was like, man, there's so many different ways to skin the cat, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
you can't really make plans on how something like this career is going to happen, and same probably with yours. Like anybody in a
Mm-hmm.
creative entertainment field, it's like you kind of just hope to be a good person, work your butt off,
Mm-hmm.
have a little luck, say some prayers, and hope that the stars align at some point, and so it's been a fun journey,
Mm-hmm.
and just a winding road. So I live in Nashville now, and I love it here. Nashville, more than anywhere, challenged me to write better songs,
Mm-hmm.
and that is one of the biggest things I've took away from when I first moved here. Was like, you know what, I need to kind of pony up and write better songs, and because I think the songs are one of the biggest parts of this whole deal,
Mm-hmm.
and hold a lot of weight in the music and things you bring to the table.
What do you like to write about? Do you feel like it's just the experience side of the song, having to go through it, live it, and then be able to do it, or just kind of creatively come up with the ideas, maybe like a fantasy type thing?
It really just depends. I feel like this past year I haven't written as much because I've been on the road so much.
Hmm.
And so in the past several years I've been writing a ton. And so I feel like sometimes my inspiration is something I'm actually feeling. Sometimes I draw inspiration from friends that I know that are going through things, or friends that are dating losers. I'm not dating a loser currently because I'm married and I
Hmm.
have an amazing husband, but sometimes it's more fun to write about the losers in your life.
Hmm.
But I've dated a few of those in the past, so I can pull from plenty of inspiration. um, it's just and it's cool to have co-writers that bring in inspiration on days that you don't.
Hmm.
So I think that's the beauty of like the Nashville
Hmm.
writing scene. Yeah, I just love being creative. And I think for me too, growing up being musical, I played for people as a sideman before I did my own thing. And so I think that one of my strong points writing, I usually have, an idea, but I love bringing melodies and musical ideas because I think that's kind of um, my sweet spot. You know.
Which is great. And we're going to talk a lot of songs today about your catalog of just great songs there. This one in particular, this latest single, August 18th, really caught my attention because I love Hayes Carl, the collaboration, you guys getting to meet. Tell us about this story and then how you get to a great song like Ask Me to Dance.
Well, thank you. By the way, I'm glad you like the song. It's
Hmm.
just fun, and I love Hayes Carl. I've been a fan of his, and his music, his songwriting for a long time. And I used to cover his song Girl Downtown at all my like little gigs and college gigs, ensemble, whatever, because it said the girl, her name was Catie in the song. And so I'm like, I gotta cover that. And so, yeah, there's actually kind of this horrible. I mean, the video isn't bad. It's a funny, cute video, but oh my God, it looks like my hair is permed and short hair. If you type in Catie Offerman Girl Downtown, it's me covering it in college, and it's, oh man, takes me back. Every time I look at that video, I'm like, oh my God, my hair. But he's just an incredible singer-songwriter, and this song, we wrote it. I wrote it with my buddies Neil Medley and Brent Cobb, and Brent is that same cool Americana vibe, and and they're buddies. He's very much the same, just a creative, amazing guy. And we wrote this song late one night, and they had a couple beers, and we're kind of getting to that. Like, I wasn't even drinking, but we were having a good time, and we had started writing something else, and we just kept getting stuck. And one of them said, like, "What if we write this song called Ask Me to Dance?" And we're like, "Yeah, like, let's do it." And we just kind of hopped on the idea, and everything started rolling out. And it was funny because the work tape from that was kind of sloppy, maybe because for me it was past my bedtime, and for Brent singing on it too is like, he had a couple. So we were all just kind of like, a little loopy. And we always said after we did that, like, I don't know if we'll ever be able to record this and recreate kind of that raw magic. And we ended up, cutting it, and Dan Huff did an awesome job of, lively, but it's has that organic feeling about it. And the day before, I think, God, maybe it was like 2 days before we went in the studio, I had been just going over my mind, like, who I wanted to sing on this song with me. And it just, like, I just woke up and it hit me. I was like, I've got to have Hayes Carl on this. I just heard his voice. And I texted Brent and I said, or I texted maybe Neil and Brent in a group text or something, was like, either y'all got Hayes' number. So Brent did, and he sent it to me. He's like, I gave him a heads up, and I think he's down. And I sent him the song, and I was like, by the way, we're recording like in 2 days. And
Wow.
he's like, I love it, and I'll be there. And he's just so generous with his time and kind and funny. And I love his phrasings. I mean, just everything about it was fun to just learn the way that he works, So I was just thankful he was willing to be on it.
It's a great song, great tune out there. And you have a lot of fun in your music too. And I'm going to come back and talk about one called Happy Land Trailer Park here from Catie Offerman here on the Backstage Pass. And of course, there's one, if you've not heard it out there, folks, I Just Killed a Man. So you want to go check that one out too as well on all the social media, digital platforms out there too as well. The great country songs. We got more with Catie Offerman here. It is the Backstage Pass powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com and also at hightidecountry.net. And presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and, of course, Honky Tonk Texas down here in Silsbee, a little dance hall down here. Always some great shows and concerts. Check them out at honkytonktexas.us. Quick timeout. More with Catie Offerman here. Hang tight.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And, of course, back this week with more shows tomorrow, Friday, and another slew of shows coming up next week. And next week, our good friend Josh Turner coming by here on the Backstage Pass. Going to talk a lot about his greatest hits album and a whole lot more here, too, on the show again at hightidecountry.net and powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. Don't forget next week also the Josie Music Awards take place at the Grand Ole Opry House in Nashville, Tennessee. We're up for an award for Media Company of the Year. So thanks to our friends over at the Josie Music Association. And I'd love to take home the hardware. Back here with Catie Offerman here on the show. So tell us all about this one, because you have a lot of fun when you do your music, and it shows in your writing and a whole lot more in your vocals. Happy Land Trailer Park. Let's really dive into this one, because what a great country song having fun with, right?
It is a good time. My motto in life is just like, life is too short not to find humor in almost everything. I mean, it's just so easy for me I'll just crack myself up thinking about, God knows what. You don't want to see my search history on my phone either. It's like, things are just so funny to me. And, this song, we wrote it over the pandemic, and kind of maybe towards the tail end of COVID. And it was like, everybody I knew was kind of in a funk. And, I think we sat down and Rodney Clausen, Joe Clemens, we got together at Rodney's house, and it was late at night. And he was like, I got this title, Happy Land Trailer Park. And we're all like, what is that? And we started talking about it. It's like, funny enough, I've since Googled Happy Land Trailer Park, and it does exist. There's like two, one's in Canada and one's like in Kansas or Oklahoma or something. And they both look like there's like creepy clowns on the picture. It looks like Halloween. So I don't know, maybe I'll end up there, but it's not about the trailer park. It's just like, whatever that thing is, it puts a smile on your face, gets you going, makes you tick, makes you happy, makes you laugh, like, puts that fire back in your eyes. Like, I hope that people will take that chance to find it, because I think at that state of my mind, it was like, again, life is short, things happen in this world that are unexpected, and you might well go out and chase the things that make you happy. So this song was that, and it's just, a smile on your face. And, it's like, he just, the part was like, back it in, plug it up, light the grill, fill your cup, smoke a J. Heck, I don't smoke, but me and my fun mind, I do. So
yeah, I'm right there with you too.
I feel naturally high. I have thoughts all the time driving down the road where I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm completely sober right now. I start thinking about the trees and how they're all made, or how my body works. I'm like, wow. So that's why I don't need anything else. I'm just naturally on that level.
I love that too. I'm with you right there. Naturally high. I love that too.
Yes.
Hey, speaking of having fun too, I love these shows that are out there too. And I'm really getting into this seasons of the Voice. And I think one of the cool things is fellow UMG record label herself, the legend, Queen, Reba McEntire. She's having fun sitting in that chair where Blake stood, and she's having fun getting some great talent on her roster. Have you seen some of the episodes? What do you like about it?
So I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen it since she's been on it, because I'm too addicted to murder TV shows.
Okay. All right.
I should be way more, I used to faithfully watch American Idol. It was like, I never missed a show. And then I've seen different seasons of The Voice where, a random person I know is on it. And I just haven't sat down and watched it this season. So I need to, because Reba is everybody's queen, country queen.
She's having a lot of fun with this year. Let's talk about this one here. Don't Do It in Texas. Us fellow Texas natives here too. You go to New Braunfels, me and San Antonio, Beaumont, and New Braunfels down here too. A lot of fun with this one too. I love the single art cover, which was fantastic too. And definitely let's dive into this one too, because what a great song.
Well, I appreciate that. This one to me is kind of my classic. I always say, this song in particular, Don't Do It in Texas, that is kind of my bread and butter. That's my sweet spot. That is the stuff that I write easily and love to write. There's something about that just feels so classic to me. Like, I would love, maybe in another life or in this one, George Strait would sing on it too. It has that classic element about it. And like Till I See You Again, Happy Land Trailer Park, some of those, they kind of encompass, my sweet spot is like right in the middle. And then I do things that are a little bit outside of that. That's all me, and they show different sides of me. But this song is kind of just me to the core. And I love that about this one. You know, I wrote this song actually when I was in Texas, over Zoom, and it was with one of my dearest friends, Ryan Beaver, who is also a Texan, amazing singer-songwriter, primarily songwriter these days. Um, but he put out records years ago when he was doing the Texas thing, and so I wrote it with him and Nicole Gallion, and it was just the thought of like, man, it doesn't matter where you're from. I mean, you know, to me, Texas is always going to be the coolest. But I think that, you know, I've learned that a heartbreak hits a little harder when it steals a special place from you. And so it's like, you know, okay, if you're going to break my heart, you know, do it. Just don't do it.
Don't do it,
Don't do it in the
man.
place that I love more than anything in the world. You know, don't do it in Texas. So,
Mhm.
I just think it's a fun song. It's a classic, and
Yeah.
sometimes I even get to play fiddle on it when I play live, and
Mhm.
you know, and plus I get to connect with my Texans over this one.
I love it too. Love it. Now, as far as the instruments go, I mean, you like I said, you've trained in piano. You've done so many things. The fiddle you mentioned there too, from a young age till now. Is guitar your favorite? What's your favorite instrument?
Well, you know, fiddle has opened all the doors in my life. Fiddle's a
Mhm.
thing that took me down the road, um, paid the bills, all that stuff. You know, now it's kind of a combination. I love it all, man. I love being able to accompany myself on guitar. So there's something very, you know, fulfilling about that. But I love being able to pick up fiddle in the middle of my set and play an intro or play a lick or a solo or something like that. You know, I think that's really cool. So I can't really choose. I feel like fiddle and
Mhm.
guitar, singing and songwriting, that's my favorite.
I love it.
All
And I
that
gotta
sounds.
ask. I love that too. And hey, fiddle pays the bills. Nothing wrong with that. Whatever pays the bills,
I
good
mean,
for you.
whatever brings in the money. So
That's it, no doubt. This one I loved it too. Let's talk about "Get a Dog" because I thought it was another one of your favorites out there too, and just a chance to have fun with
yeah.
country music the way it should be, make somebody feel something positive too. This one's got a good ring to it, right?
Yes, I'm glad you like it. I think the moms all think this song is about dog adoption and ASPCA, you know. It is. That's the fun thing about this song. It's like, I guess you can listen to it and love the dogs and love the animal aspect of it. And then you can also relate to it if you've dated a loser. So it's kind of a little bit of both. You know, verse two really hones in on that, the
Mhm.
loser aspect. Which, so it's funny because I've gotten different animal adoption, you know, ASPA, what have you, kind of places
Mhm.
reach out from different parts of the United States. If I'm on, you know, different shows I was doing with Parker McCollum or different things, they've reached out to my manager and been like, hey, we know Katie has a song, Get a Dog. Like, can she come? And we'll have the puppies run all over her and she can play this song. And we're like, yeah, 100%. I mean, I love dogs, love, love, love. And, but you know, Emily and I were talking about it, and I'm like, I guess we should just keep it at verse one, verse two. Like, I mean, verse one, chorus one, you know, like no verse two gets a
Mhm.
little bit hairy. So yeah, it's been fun to have this one out. I feel like this is the one that shows that girls come up and like, that's my song. So I mean, some
That's
people just ain't even worth being loved by a human, you know?
That's their anthem, no doubt. I love that,
Yeah.
which is great. This one, a good, just you know, everybody's got to have the fun type of country song, which you've got a bunch of them too as well. But there's one that's serious, maybe not serious, but then again, maybe it is because like a lot of people have just kind of done some things in their life they're not proud of. But at the same time, I love this. I just killed a man, and the fact that you put your own spin on this and really enjoy this tune.
Thank
You're having fun with it too at the same time, but it could be that not in a literal sense, but at the same time, just having fun with the song, right?
Yeah, you know, the whole deal with this is like it's just heartbreak. And it's just a metaphor for like the reality of the situation of like, dude, I emotionally just killed this guy. You know, you can just picture that. I left him in his drive. You picture that scene of leaving that driveway and leaving that guy, you know, in his on the front steps or you know whatever the picture is that you have in your mind. It's like everybody's been in that position where I think for me this song in my mind, it's not about the loser per
Hmm.
se, you know, it's about breaking somebody's heart even when you don't want to or
Hmm.
you don't have an amazing reason, like you don't have that, well, he's a jerk or he cheated. It's like sometimes you break up with a guy who on paper is perfect, but it's just not your guy. It's not your girl or whatever. And so this song to me just feels like classic country music. And I wrote this with some of my best friends, and we're just really proud to write this song because I don't know, I think it's just something that it makes you feel something. And it was cool because it was my first song to country radio. And I decided to lead with this song for country radio because I wanted to set the stage for, my goal was not to put out a bop, because obviously this is not a bop. And my goal was not to go to the top of the charts. Wow, that would have been awesome. It was just to hopefully make people pay attention and listen and go, dang, like that's a good country song, and you don't hear a woman singing this kind of thing all the time.
For every great artist, I mean, we mentioned all these great songs, but you've got a great team behind you too. Your manager, Universal, the record label, the publishing deal, everything. Talk about just how important for every artist out there, and for anybody that does any line of work, the team is only important. There's no I in team. I use that sports adage because sports and music overlap and really integrate very well together.
Yeah.
Your team behind you is fantastic, first of all, and definitely just talk about them and what they mean to you, kind of the backbone of that crux and everything.
Yeah, I mean, man, your team is everything. And I gotta be honest, my number one in my team is Emily, my manager. She works with Enzo DiVincenzo, and he is incredible too. Like just their whole management office. But like Emily is my girl, and she will go to the ends of the earth with me, and whatever it is. And you gotta have that person and that champion. And for me, that was first. I had a gal that was kind of my champion that helped me get my publishing deal. And then I got my publishing deal, and I wrote my butt off for a few years, and got offered a couple record deal, offers. And I decided to go with Universal because I love the artists that they represent, and I love the music they make. And I felt like it lined up with the music that I was making. And so I could only hope to be with artists like that. So I chose to go with them, and I ended up, meeting with a bunch of different managers, and I met Emily, and I was just like, yeah, like she is my girl. And because I knew she would shoot me straight, I knew she would keep me on track. I knew she'd, get a kick out of the weird pictures I'd send her at leaving a show late at night that I thought was funny. It's like we just had that relationship. It was just ride or die. And I know that she goes to bat for me every day in whatever meeting it is, because the reality is it's not an easy business. Like it looks glamorous. All of our Instagrams are like, oh my gosh, we're playing these shows. So cool. Hanging out with whatever. Oh, so cool. But the reality is like I don't really know at this very moment. I'd be lying to you if I said I knew what was happening past like January 13th of 2024, like I don't know what next year looks like. Yes, I feel very positive, and yes, I've heard things that are going to be happening, but like, it's a very unpredictable. Nothing is mapped out, and we kind of just are like shooting by the seat of our pants while also making plans. It's just nothing is guaranteed, and it's just a lot of ups and downs. So I think for me, it's like I try to stay in a very middle of the road emotional place of like it makes the highs less high and the lows less low, where you're just kind of ready for whatever, and just kind of thankful for whatever opportunity comes your way. So for me, I think the things that I look towards the most is like playing shows live, connecting with people, putting out more music, because that is what I can do to connect with folks. And so I've got more music coming soon, and playing a bunch more shows, doing a bunch of stuff with Parker. I found out I'm doing shows with George Strait, which is one of my favorite artists of all time.
Wow.
And next month. And so those are just things that are meaningful to me in ways that I genuinely feel like I can connect with other people.
No doubt too. And it's in the music and it shows. And like I said, you kind of take the opportunities that come to you too. I look at it in tough business and doing what I do at the same time, but without the great team, nothing can ever happen. And I don't ever look past, I take it one day at a time. And that's all you can do now. And I'm with you too. I can't remember what I even ate last night, much less what I'm gonna eat tonight. So it's kind of one of those things to where you live one day at a time and you just kind of improvise, which is the big thing there too. I know what we're gonna do now. We'll take a commercial break, come back, final segment with Catie Offerman. Don't forget, coming up here in a little bit, John Morgan here on the Backstage Pass. We'll talk about his new EP and a whole lot more too as well. Ask Me to Dance is across all those digital platforms. Make sure you guys go check it out if you haven't already. And even if you have, tell other people about it so they can go check it out too. And check out CatieOfferman.com for more tour dates and merchandise there on the website there. Final time out here. It is the Backstage Pass presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and Honky Tonk Texas. Coming right back.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
You can now get that whiskey, bangtail.com, get your order in and get it shipped to your house. I've been drinking a few of those little shots because the throat, keeping the tool that makes it go in there too. And it's my favorite choice. I make cocktails out of it, which is really good. And everybody has their own favorite drinks, but the official whiskey of the Backstage Pass, Bangtail Whiskey. Back here with Catie Offerman here, final segment. I got to ask you about this one. I loved it too because you just so elegant in the photo, first of all. And Till I See You Again is a fantastic song. It just feels like you were in a great place when you recorded this, when you shot the single cover. Tell us all about this one.
Man, we just had fun writing this song. You know, this was again with my friend Ryan Beaver and also Jesse Alexander, who I love dearly. And I feel like everybody's got that person in their life that you're like, nope, I close that chapter, close that door, I ain't doing that again. And then they walk into the bar. They walk into, whatever the deal is, wherever you're at. And it's like, oh God, and you do that whole deal again. And so this is something that I've, been fallen victim to. And then I feel like everybody has had that experience. And, but it's playful. It's like with a smile on your face, it's just like, here we go again. We shot this video in a really cool bar here in town. And the single we shot in this really cool house in East Nashville. And I just kind of wanted to play it up a little bit. It's not as much of that honky tonk feeling. And so I kind of wanted to play into that a little bit. And this one pushes my sound musically a little bit. And I like that. It was something that, when Ryan Beaver and I were talking about songs I was going to cut, it's like, this was a sound of a song that I didn't have. And I always kept coming back to it and loved it. So I was like, you know what, we got to cut this. We got to have this. And I ended up playing fiddle on the record. That's what you hear, the string parts at the end, played on that. And so this is just a fun one to reach for.
Yeah, which is a great song, no doubt, too. And I can't wait. So tell me what's next before I get into a little rapid fire. I know you're excited about, you mentioned the new music as we close the year, the holidays, people looking forward to spending time with family, and then goals kind of set going into 2024. Tell us about that.
Yeah, like you said, I've got some shows with Parker. I've got the shows with George. I've got fun shows, radio shows, different things for the end of the year. Another song coming out, and that is very soon, this month. So that's one of my most, anticipated things. As far as for next year, I've got some things that are kind of in the pipeline that I'm really excited about. One of my goals is to figure out how to get back over to London. I'd love to play C2C again. I love playing when I played C2C last year in London. That was just such a cool experience for me to connect with country fans in a totally different part of the world, and their love and their sincere appreciation for country music just kind of blew my mind. So that's something that's just like a personal goal to get back there next year. Put out more music, put out a body of work, finish the body of work. I mean, we already have it done. It's just a matter of releasing it. And so I think for me, I I feel like I'm the kind of artist that needs to put out a whole body of work for people to really connect with and dive in and sink their teeth into and know, okay, they can wrap their head around who's, Catie Offerman as a whole, because I'm just not a kind of one song TikTok girl kind of thing. Nothing against that. Just mean like I'm a little bit old school in certain
Yeah.
ways. And so I feel like I owe the people that. So that's a goal. And just fun little things, putting out more merch. And I've got a collab that's happening next year that I'm excited about. Totally different than this Hayes Carl one, equally as cool, just totally different. And so just some fun things, doing more stuff with Parker and just seeing how I can grow too, because there's things that, I still have to work on and just personal goals.
Same here, no doubt about it. Everybody's got to be working on their skills and their craft and trying to perfect it the best way they can. We ever stop learning, we run into kind of that buzzsaw where it's like nobody can ever be perfect. Always room for growth there. All right, I got to ask you about favorite hobby, kind of away from music. What do you enjoy the most when you're not doing your craft of music?
Cooking is one of my favorite love languages, and just kind of therapeutic. I love coming home and cooking because I think just also being on the road, having to eat out or whatever. I really don't. I try my best to not eat fast food. Like I will get on Yelp and find an absolute dive of a Thai restaurant, and I will force everybody to go to it. But I just love home cooked food. My parents are amazing cooks, and so I think I just grew up appreciating great food. The unfortunate thing is that yesterday my husband and I decided to spontaneously do the carnivore diet. So
Oh, wow.
today was my first day and we were only eating protein.
Okay.
So I'm not, that is not my vibe. I lean
Yeah.
more pescatarian. So the thought of just eating meat for a month makes me a little sick to my stomach, but I'm going to give it a go because I love a challenge. The word is you get ripped after a month, so check back in 30 days.
All right, I will do that.
But I love hiking. I love the outdoors. I love, I love walks, as lame as that sounds. I just love being with my family. Honestly, I'm kind of a homebody.
Nothing wrong with that too. We all love that, which is great. And I can tell you what, it's always fun to, catch up with you, listen to all your great music from one Texas fellow here to another fellow Texan. It's true to its core. It's authentic. You remind me of an old soul, which I know Reba uses that word a lot on her records and music and the great songs she's put out in the past, and the voice and some of these artists that are doing out there. You're one of a kind. Congrats on all the success. Ask Me to Dance featuring Hayes Carl is across all the digital platforms, and check out CatieOfferman.com. Hey, I appreciate you being with me, and let's do this again when the new music comes out.
Heck yeah, let's get some Mexican food in Texas soon. So.
Let's do that. I love
after this diet's over.
Diet's over. You keep. I will check back in 30 days.
Yeah, and you can
email Emily.
Yes, and you can teach me about some football too.
I will. Hey, you know what? I'll do that. Like I said, my team's not very good this year, and I say the college level's doing better. The Aggies, the Texas A&M Aggies. My wife is an Aggie, so they're kind of But my Arizona Cardinals for football.
Got to represent.
Got to represent. No doubt. I appreciate you being a part of it, and we're definitely going to do this again. Congrats on all the success, and God bless you, and more great music coming out soon.
I appreciate you. Hopefully, I'll see you in person soon.
We hope to do that. Catie Offerman here on the Backstage Pass, coming up here in a little bit. John Morgan on the show, and of course next week our good friend Josh Turner here on the Backstage Pass. Aaron Kirby tomorrow, and a good guy is great with the music, great musician. Alex Hall coming on Friday here on the Backstage Pass. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Actually, maybe here in a few minutes. John Morgan coming on here on the Backstage Pass, presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey, and of course Honky Tonk Texas. See, I forget just what I ate last night and who's coming up next year on the show. You can't remember past October 10th and 11th.
It's hard.
2023. It is hard when your mind's playing different tricks on you. We'll see you guys in a few minutes. John